Well, hello there, and welcome back to Power Wash Simulator? Yeah, not really. Yes, hello, faithful viewer? Loyal viewer. Loyal viewer sounds good, doesn't it? Hello, and welcome back to the second episode of the first consistent episode in a hot minute of Turtle Talks. I'll confess, I don't know how long this will last. I do have somewhat of a plan. You'll be shocked to hear. Yeah. Welcome back. I am once again flying solo. You'll love to see it. But yeah. So I mean, where do we start? Wild that this is the second episode of Turtle Talks, and where is the boys in the pod? If any of you even listen to that, it's long gone. I don't know. I don't know where it's been. I couldn't tell you. But no, let's not start with this particular energy of me just bad mouthing the other podcast that I do. You know, the podcast that I don't know. It's suspicious. I do a championship of which I lose, which wasn't really fair. I'm really embracing my inner wrestler, and you know what? I'm getting all over the place. I'm for those of you that are seeing the game footage, I am playing Power Wash Simulator, so I'm gonna try and not. I realize I may have picked the wrong thing to be doing, because I'm doing this. What was it like a penny? It doesn't matter. I'm getting all over the place. Hi, I'm Turtle Guy, and welcome back to the latest episode of Turtle Talks. Now, I know what you're thinking, but do not panic, do not fret. It's not going to be constant solo episodes, but I am thinking of more solo episodes than I did previously, because I'm not against them. I quite like them actually. They're not as bad as I once feared. Because I know I was hyping up doing a solo one in a while, and possibly, if you're lucky, viewer, listener, yes, faithful listener, if you are lucky, and if the episode's any good, you may get a turtleless episode of Turtle Talk. But again, I don't know. That's also a risky maneuver to pull because I don't want certain people coming in and thinking they can proclaim themselves as a quote unquote Turtle Talks champion. That's just never gonna happen. But yeah, so listen, I got a little riled up there, and I'm sure particular people, they're listening to this, and maybe they're on the road, and maybe they're just sweating. Maybe they're a little nervous about what I could say and what I could do, but you know what? First, the news. The yearly annual? Yeah, I believe it's annual. Cheese rolling competition happened this week. I am not making this up. I have a limited knowledge of what cheese rolling is. It is an event in which happens in England, and they get a big wheel of cheese because they still make that these days, and they roll the cheese down the hill. The people then not follow, run after said wheel of cheese, and the first one to get down the hill first and grab said cheese is the winner. This has been happening for years. This year's competition happened. Famous YouTuber, is it I Show Speed? Something Speed. Um, who this is the second sport event that the YouTuber has been seen at. The last being WrestleMania, of which he was helping out Logan Paul, the United States champion, fight Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Anywho, cheese rolling originated years ago. Bunch of people run down a hill and chase after a wheel of cheese. I know. Absolute mental behavior. But yeah, that's the news. Turtle Guy's story time. Last week, so I can't remember exactly, but last week I decided to, hey, treat, little chipper, you know? Translation, I wanted a takeaway. What did I get? I believe I got like the just I don't know. I actually tried experimenting and I was like, I'll get like a meal box because I want some chicken and some chips. That's what I was craving. So I ordered the chicken, or I ordered my food at 5:45, so 5:45. Yeah, I'm just double checking if my time's right, but they are. So when my food arrived, I noticed the delivery person. Why? Because possibly at the start of this year, I'd seen this delivery person before, and they had me. They started talking to me and was basically like, "Oh, you live so far out of the town that actually because I order it on the app or website or whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, delivery €2 on top of your food." But this delivery man, nah. He was like, "Oh well, you see, the way it works is it's a circle, and you see, the thing is, you actually live further out than the app says." Hmm. What? Yeah. So in actuality, you owe me €2. But he was like, "Oh, this first time, this is fine. This is okay. This is, we'll not worry about it for now. But the next time I come out with your food, you better have €2 cash." Uh, okay. So I actually remember for a whole month I was like, I am not ordering for that from that place. Fuck that shit. I'll order from somewhere else. So I don't have to deal with that shit because very rarely do I have cash on me and it'd just be a whole thing. I then, a couple of weeks ago, a month ago maybe, I then decided to order from that place again. Twice I ordered from this place and completely different delivery drivers, and they didn't say nothing. That's what they said. But oh yeah, if you're looking at this gameplay wise, I don't even know what I'm at. But yeah, so nothing happened for ages. And then last Saturday, ordered food, and it was that guy. And the guy comes and he's like, "Oh, hey, remember?" And I'm like, "You're the only delivery driver that fucking does this. Seems weird." Because each of the other times that I ordered from that place, one of the time I was really risking it, I didn't have any change. But the other drivers didn't ask. This guy, though, comes up and he's like, "Hey, €2." And I was livid. You're probably like, "Oh, come on." He noticed a gap in the system, something about circles and the way it measures. Doesn't fucking matter. So, whose side are you currently on with this argument? Maybe you're on the delivery driver and you're like, "Hey, you know, maybe it's tough to be a delivery driver. Okay, why are you being such a dick?" There's a little piece of information that I haven't told you, dear listener. I ordered the food at 5:45. This delivery driver did not appear in my doorway till 7:15. That's over an hour. That is well over an hour. And again, I gave him the €2 because I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. I am hungry. I do not want to deal with this shit. I was a lot more livid about this last week, but or the day of, but I'm just like, I'm giving you extra like, why am I paying you additional money when I ordered this food hours ago? Close, like, what? It was close to being an hour and a half late. Like, I was genuinely like, that food ain't coming. That is never gonna. But yeah. So that was, I, I don't know if it was my emotions. Yeah, that's just one of the things that happened. But all right, we've talked about the cheese, and we've talked about my delivery debacle, so to speak. So, what should we discuss next? Well, as I mentioned up top, kind of ranty like, there hasn't been an episode of the pod in quite some time. And if I've done my job right, and if everything's gone right, this episode should be uploaded either late Thursday or very early Friday. And if you check on Spotify, yeah, I know it's actually quite irritating that you're listening to this on YouTube, but you gotta travel all the way to Spotify. Some people don't have accounts. It might be on iTunes or Amazon Music or whatever. It's definitely on Spotify. The Boys on the Pod, which might be linked below. I don't know. Um, yeah, because it used to be on YouTube, but the quote unquote champ. Well, he yeah, he didn't not on YouTube. Is it champ? But he's probably quaking in his boots right now. Well, he's not quaking because number one, he might be wearing boots. I don't know what he's wearing. Probably listening to this in a car. Hi. Hi, Cyber. I'm gonna address to you because you're probably a little worried. And I don't know, maybe the rest of the boys should be worried. Because this is just a solo pod. I could say anything. And I've been biting my tongue, fuck, for quite a while. And yeah, let's just what could we talk about? Because I don't know exactly what you guys are planning. I've been told that a podcast is being made with David and Hoover and Cyberprime as ringleader. Now listen, I don't even know if this pod is going to exist because their scheduling is very interesting. Now maybe they've recorded this pod, maybe they haven't. I don't know, but I will be listening to it Friday, maybe. If if depending on what the subject is, because now that let's not even go that it's real interesting that any episode without Turtle Guy. I'm kind of a big deal in it, aren't I? Last episode was that quote unquote Turtle Guy cake. Other episode was you did one of my topics. And what's this next one? It's not going to be a Turtle Guy cake. My current theory is it's something along the lines of a roast, but again, I don't know what. And how exactly am I don't know. In a perfect world, I'd love to be proven wrong and that Cyber had tricked me and is actually doing a cake and a really nice thing. But how do I, Turtle Guy, how do I respond to a potential attack? From all three possible directions. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The Turtle Guy bitching video, while interesting, I don't know what you'd phrase that as. Let's go a little further back. So the start of mine and Cyber's quote unquote feud started with a few things. Number one, me and Cyber, thanks to David, got really into wrestling. Number two, um, oh, number two, on April 1st, Cyberprime, of his infinite wisdom, decided to make a Turtle Guy cake video. Now, if you're unfamiliar, last year I decided, Cyber got the three of us, to host an episode. Now, I'll confess, it was co-hosted by David, because I didn't really know what I was doing. Oh, wait, yeah, I think that was the one David helped co-host. But I came up with the idea, goddammit, and it was called Cyberprime Cake. And we'd make a cake for Cyber to celebrate our friend. And then we'd make a cake for Hoover to celebrate our friend Hoover. And we made a cake for David to celebrate our friend David. But, See, the funny thing kind of happened. I didn't get a cake for a while. I was like, oh, I'll get a cake at some point, but I didn't. I was the last one to receive a cake. And April 1st, well, I see a podcast is released, which is very unusual because the podcast usually comes out on a Friday, and this is why this podcast is out this Friday. And I'm just like, oh, I got a notification, Spotify, the boys in the pod, podcast of of on April the 1st on a Monday, April 1st, podcast. Turtle Guy cake, so you best believe smack those earphones on or in because I have earpods, whatever. I don't know why I specified with that detail. And I listen, and they're doing a bit of small talk. I'm like, oh, cool, okay. Getting into it. He's talking to Hoover about Avatar, I believe was discussed, and a few other things. And then it keeps going, and I'm listening to this at work, and I'm like, this is small talk's a bit big. And then at this point I'm like, this episode's 40 minutes. And at this point we're already 15, 20 minutes in. And I'm like, number one, this is going to be a very small cake. And number two, the boys on the pod, we have a bit of a track record. Something that is not exclusive to Turtle Talks. The episodes are quite lengthy. There's a bit of girth to them. Yes, I said girth. They're quite something. I'll tell you that I'll tell you that for nothing. But anywho, um, I'm actually doing some research right now because I want to be correct. But most cake episodes, they're quite long. So I keep listening to this quote unquote cake, and then the episode ends. In fact, I believe Cyber ends it and it's like, oh, is there anything else we need to talk about? And it just ends. No mention of any cake, ingredients, icing, filling. In fact, actually thinking about it, most of our cake videos are pretty lacking. Anywho, I digress. I laughed for a bit. And then no. Hang on. Skipped a little too far ahead of the story. Couple of weeks later, so possibly end of April, late April, early May. Cyberprime contacts the boys in a fit of not panic, but there isn't a pod ready for Friday, and I, loyal as I am, puppy dog loyal, decides to, you know what? I'll do it for you. I'll take one for the team. I will. I did a solo episode. I did what some could claim to be the first solo episode ever of The Boys in the Pod. And I did it. And it was a joy to do it. And I listened actually to the episode. Because I sent Cyber the footage, and it took a while to get uploaded, and it was very strange. I listened to the episode, I listened to myself. It was weird, but it was good. And then I hear the very end of the episode. And Cyber, good buddy, old pal. Well, you see, he seems to have added himself into the episode. And it's at this point that Cyber makes the bold claim that he is the champion of the podcast, as he has been in every episode. Because the one mistake that I made was when we were making Cyber's cake episode. We didn't actually bake him a cake, if you're thinking that, because trust me, he wouldn't have been able to eat it. I'm not saying we're bad cooks. I'm saying that the ingredients we mentioned in the cake episode not good. Anywho, Cyber then starts smack talking. He says some serious smack talk, and he goes like, "Yeah, I'm the champion of the podcast inspired by wrestling. He is the undisputed champion of the Boys podcast. I don't know exactly what the title he claims to hold is. He doesn't even have a belt, because wrestlers have a big belt. But Cyber keeps on claiming that he is the champion. He's been in every episode. The only episodes that I wasn't in, I missed one. I don't know how I missed one, but the trio, that's what I'll just refer to them, the terrific trio, the troublesome trio, the trio, met an episode using one of my topics, why did you create that guy? And then, of course, we have that quote-unquote bullshit cake episode. So I was two down, whereas Cyber had appeared on every single one. However, I thought, oh, my solo episode. He's not in that, he inserted himself at the end of it, therefore keeping his reign as champion. So, because we kept watching wrestling, I decided to challenge Cyber Prime. And how did we do this challenge? We agreed upon whoever hosted the most episodes would win. Yeah, I'll confess, didn't really think this through. Cyber won by quite a great margin, and that's where we are now. So that's the history, that's the catch up. So, I don't know what they've done or what they're not doing. This will be fucking hilarious, and I'm saying this right now. This episode is getting uploaded on May 31st. This is not getting uploaded. I don't care if Cyber begs and pleads with me to not upload it in case they haven't done anything. I don't care. This is getting uploaded. This is going straight onto the system. Because why not? So, what could I say about those three boyos? A roast of their own. You think me an idiot, Cyber? You think that I'm going to respond? You think that I'm gonna say smack talk you, and then I know your tricks, boy. You've tricked me into making a mean episode. Well, sir. Well, Riddle Master, I see through you. I realize I've kind of, upon saying this in such a way, I've kind of adopted the wrong energy to say what I'm about to say, but I'm not gonna do that. I'll just say nothing. No, in fairness, one thing I will start, and it'll put me in the right mood. Cyber is an incredibly busy individual, and I will say on the pod, a little bit of an overworked individual, takes on a bit too much. But reason being that there hasn't been a pod, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or if I'm about to get a giant axe flung at me. Cyber has made a beautiful channel with Destiny content. In fact, the reason there hasn't been a pod in 2 weeks is because the poor little guy, and I'm gonna call you a poor little guy because yes, this is me complimenting you, but I'm gonna throw in a bit of insult. The poor little guy, he's every year when it comes to Destiny content, the content resets when there's a new DLC. And on Cyber will also say, um, we've had a longer time period this year, but we still, every year without fail, I don't know if I'm supposed to reveal this, every year without fail, we always cut it, we cut it fine. Time wise, and even now I think the time is getting cut really fine. But yeah, uh, we yeah, I don't even know how to explain that. Further proof the turtle talks are unedited. That was a long gap of silence. It was a really thoughtful minute there. If you're still listening, and you survived through that blip. Um, we have made some cracker content. Yeah, cracker content for Destiny 2. It's shaping up very nicely. The 200th episode is going to be a work of art. There are a few other projects that I'm definitely not allowed to tell you. Uh, this silent is important because I'm texting Cyber right now about something. Cyber, if you're listening to this, you're gonna be like, "What is he texting me? Hey, I didn't receive a message." I'm not gonna give away when or how I'm recording this podcast. Maybe you're texting, screaming that I need to be on to record something. Maybe it's the middle of the night. But no. Cyber is a goddamn workhorse in every meaning of the term. But yeah. I've kind of stumped myself. And I don't really know what more to say. And I say that because my time is running very slowly short. But this is a little bit of praise for Cyber and the other two. It's a lot of fun working on the pod, even with Hoover and David. There was another thing I was going to say, but I'm fairly certain Cyber would murder me if I said that. And I don't know, even the me trying to be really nice might have meant the fucking best thing anyway. I'm gonna cut this episode of Turtle Talk short. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna be end this episode praising Cyber. You should check out the pod. I don't know necessarily if you should check out the newest episode, if it even exists. But yeah. This is me praising Cyber. He's made a lot of content. He makes a lot of great content. And he's just an all around nice guy. I have nothing more to add. I'm just a little bit of praise. Hoover and David are the best co-boys that you could ever ask for in numerous ways. They are wonderful to work alongside. And yeah, this is Turtle Talk. This is this week's Turtle Talk. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a trilogy of solo pods, and then I'm gonna sprinkle in some of the old content. And maybe, if it appeases me, I might. I don't know if sprinkle is the right word. I might give you. Oh, I've just had a very clever idea. And on that note, um, I'll finish my thought. I might give you that turtleless talk, or bootleg turtle talk, I think is something what I would phrase it as. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to this week's Turtle Talk. Join me again next week because I will guarantee there will be some form of Turtle Talk next week. I don't know what, I don't know with who. Maybe it will continue the trilogy of the solo Turtle Talk. Technically, it's not a trilogy, it's kind of a quadrilogy because the first episode of this season was also solo. But alas. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time. And as always, I was your guy, Turtle Guy, signing off. New outro.